Now, with our double stops is a way of playing our power chords but not having to put the root in the bottom. Just omitting the root. This helps you kind of get around the power chord sound, that 5 sound, with just the fifth and the root against each other, a little bit more faster. You'll find, first of all, power chords are, there's not a single thing out there that doesn't use a power chord at some time or another. Especially if we're talking rock and roll, but not excluding every other form of music out there. There's something about that 1 and 5 played together where it's like an interesting contrast that just works. Why do I say interesting contrast as I buy time while I'm tuning my guitar? Is the 5, the 5th scale degree, wants to lead back to the 1st scale degree. You'll hear this in the blues. That's the turnaround. So if we're in A, if we're hearing A a bunch, right? And then all of a sudden we hear an E. Does it not want to go back to oh no 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 no, right? But to hear the two together, it's kind of this perfect circle, if you will, of the 5 just constantly going back to 1, and the 1, you know, obviously is sending to the 5 because the 5 is in there. But double stops it's literally you're stopping 2 strings at the same time. It's a violin term, but you find this in a lot, like every Deep Purple tune, Van Halen, Kiss, for sure. Thin Lizzy, this is a big classic 70s kind of sound, but again, you see this everywhere. So if our chord progression was deuce from Kiss, which is A, C, D, C, C, D, C, A, G. If you were trying to do that with power chords, you know, first of all, this thing happens a lot over about 4 minutes. So here's what it would look like if you're just doing power chords. Now, you know, you can get around that fast. That's a lot. That's a big punk rock thing, is how fast can you get that shape around. But what Kiss did and what you should do in a song situation like that is you're just playing the 5th and the octave. So for A, you're just playing your ring and pinky finger. For C, with your index finger, you're just playing what your ring and pinky would be playing. Same thing for the D. Now you'll see oftentimes people will use their ring finger for that. I like, for accuracy's sake, and this, you know, the G string is always the testiest string intonation-wise on a guitar. This guitar, no exception. For accuracy's sake, I like to use my pinky and ring finger. So, and then index finger for the G. You're just playing those two. So instead of you're actually just playing. Right on, and then there's another little double stop you can do with the octaves. If you don't want to hit the full A, you can just hit the A there, hit an E, so on and so forth. You'll see, you know, Smoke on the Water, classic example of double stops. So that would be, if we're doing power chords, it just doesn't have the same sound, right? Let's actually just look at this riff real quick for Smoke on the Water, because check it out. We've got a little bit of everything in this. We've got our G power chord is the all went down to Marshall on the Lake Geneva shoreline. Make a moment. We didn't have much time. For example, in the Mothers at the best place in town. Stupid with a flare gun, burn it to the ground. Right? So that whole verse was just G and F, but instead of we're arpeggiating the chord. Pretty cool, right? Pretty simple. And then our chorus, which is just a C power chord, smoke on the G sharp, water. And then we just get a little play in our 7th position minor pentatonic in G, or you just get this little bow tie shape, which is hugely, hugely popular and very common in rock and roll, where we have well, it's not even a bow tie, but we're playing between the root, minor 3rd, and minor 7th. And instead of playing the whole chords, or even doing the double stops of which you could totally do, and it would sound really sweet, they're just actually just hitting the roots. But that's because there's the bass, guitar, and the keyboards all playing at the same time. So another Deep Purple thing, just to show you some double stop stuff, is Highway Star, which is also in G. Just look to the pictures. It's basically just G, B flat to C, but instead of having to play all this stuff, or I can't even believe I did that well. So you could hit the big C with the B flat, or you can just hit the double stop. So we'll stop at the chorus because that's pretty much, well, we'll keep going with the tune. We have a nice little C to A. So there's a lot of ways you could play that. But the way that Mr. Richie Blackmore played it was double stop to those octaves we were just talking about. Cool. Now, one last little thing with double stops is